Okay, hello friends. Welcome to an interesting video. This is a full-on retrospective of my history with Five Nights at Freddy's, all the way from the get-go, from when I first ran into this darn thing, all the way up to now. And we're using the not the ARC trailers. We're using the FNAF trailers as a backdrop here. We'll have pictures pop up as per usual, but I had to bring and the reason this video is delayed is I had to bring somebody on that also might have some perspective on Five Nights. You know her, you probably love her, I hope so. Lady Divic is here!
Hey everybody.
Okay, so she's here, and I still remember when you told me you were interested in Five Nights at all, and I was completely surprised.
Yeah, I started looking at videos of the timelines and the history of it. It was pretty cool, pretty interesting. Dark, but interesting.
I out of everything that she and I had discussed up to that point, I didn't think Five Nights would be in her interests at all. So when I started talking about it and she was interested, I was like, what? Really? Okay then. But as far as like my history with it, I remember the original crowdfunding for the first game when that first cropped up, and the fact that it made $0 and 0 cents, it made absolutely nothing. And I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe the first FNAF came out on Desura, which I don't think exists anymore. But yeah, it was there. It was there for a while, and then it got onto Steam Greenlight, and then all the other respective games started coming out. Now, I was there from the get-go. At what point did you run into Five Nights?
Well, growing up, my little brothers always played it, but when I really got into it was when I met you, and I started thinking like, you know what, I'm gonna watch videos to look into like the story behind it. And
So it wasn't per se a game that you just happened to see, and then it was like, oh, what's this about?
yeah, not until I met you. That was when I started being around it more, and I was like, okay, let's see the story and the history, because Divic would send me videos and stuff, and I looked more into the perspective of William Afton and the story behind the souls of the children, and I'm like, this is interesting. I like this. I like the psychological kind of thriller aspect of it.
Yeah, right. And you know what? This was originally going to be a reading your comments video, because there's a lot of comments on the Red Eyes video, which still gets comments to this day, by the way. But I decided this would be a lot more interesting to actually discuss. And I think out of everything, the game theory videos are probably the most compelling to listen to, just because he's not only pulling from the games, or Pat, by the way. Matt is not only pulling from the games, but he's also pulling from the books, which there's a ton of books. And, I know there's a lot of excitement around the Mimic, and now that the Mimic is in the games, I guess spoilers for freaking Ruin, even though Ruin's been out for like, what, a month now? And like everyone and their twin sister has played it except for me, because these games scare me. But anyways, I find the entire discussion around these games to be very interesting, because there is a camp that just says only follow the games, in which everything is so vague when we look at just the games that it feels almost like one of those things, like you're watching a comic book movie, whereas you can't watch the whole debate with let's say the Marvel movies are introducing War Machine, and you have no idea who War Machine is. So he's like, oh, read the comics to find out that War Machine is just his best friend in an alternate suit of armor. If that would be like if Rhodey was War Machine at the very start of the movie. No, there was no telling of what it was, or who he was, or why he has the suit, and everything else like that. So that whole scene where he comes back to the air base, right, in Iron Man 2, and he's like, oh wait, it's Rhodey? If you had no idea who the silver armor person was until that point. It's almost like that with just looking at just the games. If you ignored the books, you're missing a lot of fundamentals, and that's why I really like the books, like the Silver Eyes trilogy. I didn't sit down and read all of them, but those books kind of give an alternate take on what happened with the games, because the games are so vague, but then you have so much story and so much lore packed in the games that it becomes hard to tell. That's why I actually really like the books, and how they kind of take the same beats. There was a missing children's incident. children were unalived. William Afton got involved. He got spring-locked. All the core aspects of the first 3 are still there, but they're told in an alternate way. And I love the fact that we actually do get to see the spring-lock failure in, I think, the graphic novel, and also in one of the books. I forget which one it is. I think it's the first one. And you do actually see Springtrap by the second. I think it's either the second or the third book. I don't remember off the top of my head. But this series is crazy. This series is just crazy. And I never played FNAF World because by the time I got to a PC and everything, all the games were already out. So, yeah, no. But, yeah. I think my favorite Scott-made game is between Sister Location, which the trailer is about to come up for it right now, and probably the fourth one, FNAF 4 and 5. But as far as like satisfaction, I'm gonna say 6 because of the Henry speech. It's like the Henry speech is probably one of the most epic voiceover moments in the entirety of the series. And it felt so satisfying. Like, hey, oh yeah, by the way, the darkest pit of hell is here to say hello to you, William. Don't keep him waiting. So, what would you say is probably your favorite of the games as far as like anything? Story, look, the jump scares, whatever. Like, what would you say is your favorite one?
I would probably say... the aspect of the children. Where the children take over the souls, like how that whole entity of it, like how the children take over.
But which game though?
Oh, which game? Oh.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Custom Night. Any other recent games, but the psychological part is definitely very interesting, though. I would say. I would say
the one where he's in the bedroom, like he's in the house, and then he's
4. Yep. I believe that's FNAF 4. Yeah, no, FNAF 4. You know what? I remember seeing the trailer for that and thinking, oh my gosh, are we a kid? Of course, that would come back to us in Security Breach much later. But see, there is still, speaking of FNAF 4, there's still debate, even to this day, on who we're playing as in that game. It's very obviously like a kid because you're so low to the ground, right? But there's still some camp that says, oh, it's Michael Afton. Oh, it's like in his mind or whatever. It's like, but I mean, that goes into one of those things of, can you really say outright, this is who we're playing as? I don't think so. But as far as like story goes, I'm gonna give it probably to 5 and 6. So Pizza Simulator, which, hey, there's the trailer for it. The trailer, quote unquote. As far as story goes, 5 and 6, because 5 I feel like is more interesting. Sister Location, I feel like is more interesting because it gets more into the Afton side of it, right? Because then you're introduced to William officially in the 3rd game. Like, you don't know who he is. You don't get you get the name drop actually in the books, by the way. And so I think he's kind of a mysterious figure in 2, but he's not properly introduced until 3. And then you get the Springtrap suit, which Spring Bonnie suit, which there's oh, by the way, I think it's like night 5. So, oh, by the way, here's the killer that was hinted at strongly in the first 3 games, and here he is getting trapped in a suit that apparently he helped make in the first place. So 3, as far as lore, answer is quite a few, but then you get more questions. But then you fast forward to 4, fast forward to 5, and then in 5 you hear him talk for the first time. You know, in that opening dialogue, she can dance, she can sing, she's equipped with a built-in helium tank right at her fingertips. All that lovely stuff. I swear if that sounds silly on after the fact, but 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6. Really dive into William and then the Afton family, but you still wonder what happened to Lady Afton. Where is his wife? I know there's the theory that it's Ballora, but what happened to his wife? Because I mean, come on. I just really like that you got the first half of a big mystery of who this person is and who Michael is. You know, the person that you're playing as in the first game, and I believe the third, probably the fourth, but that's so up in the air. And it's not. And Michael Afton does. There's a guide, right? It doesn't say outright who you're playing as in the fourth game. Because there's so many people. Oh, you're playing as Michael. You're playing as Evan, the little brother. You're playing as this character. You're playing as that character. There was so much debate that when you got to the ultimate guide, which is like the answer to all the answer to every question you might have, Michael didn't get a page or a 2-page spread in that book at all. Because if you put Michael Afton in that book, that answers the question of who are you playing as in the first game, which it's clear, Mike Schmidt, Michael Afton. Who are you playing as in the second game, the third, the fourth, the fifth? It answers so many questions and it makes clear everything, but then with that, much like the rest of the series, you end up having more questions than answers, right? So I think it was very smart to not give Michael a page or a page spread in that book, because there would just be more confusion, and there's already enough with, is the mimic involved in the games proper? Yes, he is. Yes, it is, rather. But that's a whole nother can of worms. Now, as far as like the new games, like VR, AR, Security Breach, and then Ruin. Well, first off, would you even want to play any of those? Like, first off, because I don't think I will, because I don't have a VR headset. Well, I do kind of. But also, I don't think I'd want to, because, for one, these games scare the crap out of me. Which is why you haven't seen Ruin gameplay in a while, by the way. But, I don't know if I would... So, would you, like Curse of Dreadbear, would you even be interested in playing any of those at all? Like the VR games, or Security Breach, or even Ruin?
Probably just because of how I know I am with my anxiety and it being so tense. I feel like
exactly.
Probably not.
Yeah, no. Because, I skipped over. I played the first 5, I think, on console, and then I thought about playing them on here, but I was like, because see, whenever I'm playing a FNAF game, I've got both headphones on, and so especially for a game like FNAF 4, where you really have to listen to what's going on, I'm just like, no, Jesus Christ. What the crap, man? That scared me. Why? But yeah, see, that point made. I don't think I'd be able to play these games for very long, which is why even the Choo Choo Charles game videos when I first played that were so short, because they were like 15-minute intervals. Because, like Lady Divic here, these horror games entirely give me very bad anxiety. And plus, this might just be my overactive imagination, literally putting me into the role of the player character. But it scares me so much. It's just like, but I at least started to play Security Breach, and my hands are shaking for some reason. Oh man, I started to play Security Breach. I played like the opening 10 minutes. I was like, okay, no, I'm done. Same thing with Ruin. I played that first part, and I haven't picked up the game since because I'm trying so hard not to get jump scared when those games too. I know how to avoid the jump scares, but much like with why I haven't played I and we have not played a total conversion mod in Ark, it's because I still derp up the controls from time to time. So it's the same thing here. I don't know if I'd want to. I don't know if I'd want to play like FNAF 1 to 6 because of how much RNG is involved with those, and then you have to make sure that you're pressing every single button correctly, because one false move, you're screwed. Right? So I feel like it's the same thing there for me. But as far as like the newer age, so VR Help Wanted, the AR game, which is on screen right now, Security Breach, and Ruin, which one do you think would... Okay, well actually, let's put it this way. If Security Breach or any of these newer games existed, which one would you invest your time into? Like, would you want to physically go to the Pizzaplex or play in like experience the AR or the VR games? Like, would you want to do that at all?
Probably not, to be honest.
Yeah, especially with AR and VR, because like again, you're in the experience.
Yeah, I also have my pros and cons of VR in the first place. Like,
Yeah, and plus I can't, I physically, I don't know about you, but I physically cannot play a VR game for very long because it gives me a migraine.
yeah, and also like I'm just hyper paranoid about the fact that it's what if something happens and it just messes you up physically, like after that.
Right, and that's always the fear of VR games or even AR. Because I mean, AR is fine. I mean, you're just holding up your phone.
Yeah.
But still, if you're playing, again, it's no different than playing any other FNAF game up to that point because you got both headphones on, and then you're invested in the experience. But I'll tell you what though, if a Pizzaplex did exist, I would want to go there at least once, just to meet the animatronics. For I mean, at that point they're full on. At this point they're full on robots. Let's be real here. I would want to meet the animatronics just because the way Security Breach wrote not only Freddy, but the other three, as far as their personalities are concerned, is very interesting. I feel like, and I would want to meet them just to see what they're like in person. Because I mean, the Security Breach. If there was one thing about Security Breach, which, hey, here's the trailer. If there's one thing about Security Breach that I felt was lacking, it's meeting all of the animatronics before crap hits the fan, right? Because you get, Chica, Roxanne, and Monty under the control of the virus and whatnot, so you don't get to really interact with them as much as you do Freddy. I would have liked to experience Security Breach open and active, because I believe this is the first time in the series we actually saw a place open. Like, it's actively open at the time of when you go there, but it's after hours. So I would have liked to have like a daytime section where you get to walk around and experience the Pizzaplex while it's open and there's people around, and you can meet the animatronics, talk to them, interact with them. I think that would have made Security Breach a whole lot more interesting, and a lot like how FNAF 6 was, the pizza simulator, where you had the simulated area and then the daytime cycle. But the real fun is when it happens at night. Like, I would like a DLC of Security Breach while it's open. Like, during the day, where you get to experience everything and not it be closed. I mean,
it would be cool if
Go ahead, sorry.
It would be cool if they made a Five Nights at Freddy's, like if they incorporated it at Universal Studios or something.
You know what? It's interesting that you mentioned that, because that's high key likely to happen just because of the FNAF movie. I mean, there's already posters of the movie all over Universal. I think I showed you that one time. But there's already like these wall paper thingamajigs, whatever you call them.
Oh, the banners?
The banners, right. The banners. At Universal Studios, I think in Hollywood. And there's also the billboards are showing the FNAF movie here and there. Like, I've seen pictures of like whole billboards. Hey, there's the FNAF movie. It's coming out in October on my dad's on Papa Divic's birthday, no less. Interestingly enough, and it's just Security Breach opened the door for, hey, what's it like at a FNAF at a Freddy Fazbear location while it's open, but you only see it at night. And also, this is probably my favorite Security Breach trailer out of all of them. So, I mean, the glowing eyes right there. Hey guys, you see that? It's glowing red eyes. Oh no! I'm totally pulling the leg of every person in the comment that left a comment about the red eyes in the FNAF movie trailer, or the red eyes video, because I'll be honest, I like trolling you. I like trolling people. Just like the whole red eyes are stinky comment. It's like, well, so are you, but you're still here anyway. Or whatever my reply was. But Security Breach and the FNAF movie in general, it opens the idea to see what this place is like, what these places were like when they were open, right? And I think, I forget where it was, but I believe I read somewhere that's the only reason Scott has not greenlit an actual Chuck E. Cheese style FNAF location is because he's afraid of some lunatic going full William Afton and then like the events of the game take place. Which honestly, that's fair because this fan base is kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs a lot of the time. Like y'all couldn't even agree with if Dream Theory took place or nah. Like, I remember that discourse. I remember people saying, no, this is stupid, and people saying, no, this actually makes a whole lot of sense because this reason. By the way, I am pro Dream Theory. But, either way, this series is insane. Like, that goes without saying. Security Breach and the movie are probably the most interesting aspect in this most recent timeline of 2023. Because, Security Breach and Ruin, hey, what if this place were open? Here's what a FNAF location would look like. And then Ruin, oh, abandoned building, because there's a lot, abandoned by Disney, that creepypasta. But it's FNAF, right? I really like that. I really do. And I'm hoping, the one thing I'm hoping for with the movie is that you get to see the place when it's open. Because that's something that the 1 to 6 never really showed us in full. And now I'm not talking about the Tycoon. I'm not talking about the Tycoon sections because that's a different thing entirely. But I feel like you have a good opportunity with the movie to show, hey, here's what the old school locations were like while they were open. I think that's really, really the best opportunity to show, right? So also, would I go to a location if there was an actual like Chuck E. Cheese style restaurant? Yeah, sure. Maybe one time I'll go. Would you?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm watching for any back rooms there. I'm just saying, bro. But anyways, I think this is a good place as any to kind of stop because I believe the FNAF movie trailers let's crop up and I'm not trying to get copyright. But what's your history with Five Nights at Freddy's? Do you like the series right now? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you like the direction that it's headed? Let me know in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we shall see you in the next video.
Bye, everybody.